Welcome, beautiful people. Welcome to yet another video. I hope you guys are feeling good. I am glad to be back with another video. And in today's video, yes, it has been a minute since I have been on here, and yeah, life happens. But I was just brainstorming, and I thought it would be nice to bring something different. If you follow me on my social media platforms, you should know by now that I have been anticipating to post some new content, and this time it's related to the women's football, the Chelsea women's football. Now, this series will be called the Do You Know series, where we dive into knowing each and every single player from the first team and, of course, the major substitutes that are made in the Chelsea Women Football Club. And I have to say, I'm excited. So if you don't follow me on my social media platforms, please make sure you do. I'll be linking them in the description box down below. Of course, we are on international break, and we ended the international break. We went to the international break at a very low note. Well, I feel like we would have done so much better in that Burnley game, but out of the frustrations, I feel like we should just learn from the game, and moving forward, we should be converting all our chances into goals. I know it's so easy to say rather than being there and doing it on ground, but as it is right now, we just need to do better. We cannot afford mistakes. So that's the story for another day. But in relation to the video today, now who will be my first player? Now, this player has accomplished so much within so little time, and I have to say, when I went through her story, I was surprised, and she has accomplished so much. She has so many titles under her name, so many achievements, and I'm just proud she's in Chelsea. I mean, congratulations for Chelsea for making this great signing. I mean, there's no way this was just the match made in heaven. Now, this is our forward, and if you hear the word forward, the first person that comes to mind is a definite Australian, somebody female somewhere. Now, before I jump into the video, if you enjoyed this content, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, and please don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the post notification bell so you're notified every time I upload a video. Watch this video till the end. I will be giving you some of her major accomplishments. That is in the Guinness Book of World Records. So stay tuned, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. Now, this 26-year-old Australian forward is one of the best women players in the world as it stands right now. She's literally one of the GOATs, to say the least. I mean, in terms of how she carries herself, in terms of how she's clinical with her finishes, in terms of her raw pace, I mean, this player is just a phenomenal player. And I have to say, all her life she has been through, she first started with Australian football. It's more of like rugby, so it's whereby it's more of like you run with the ball on your hand, and then when you get to the end of the pitch, you have to kick the ball out using your hand. So you throw the ball, and then you kick it with your leg. So it's nothing like soccer. I would not say it's soccer or football, depending on where you're from. So in terms of her early start of career, now let me just drop the name. Her name is Sam Kerr. Samantha Kerr is her name, from Australia, and she of course got her start in sports from a very young age. She started playing with the boys team, and as she went on, she continued playing. And of course, when she got, I think, the age of 11, and the boys in the squad was way bigger, and she went back home with a black eye and a bloody lip. And her father and her brother played football professionally, and her father was also into sports. So this just steered her along the way of playing soccer eventually. So when she went back home with the injuries, her dad was like, nope, we are not doing this anymore. And that was it in terms of the Australian rugby. So in terms of her soccer debut, she started playing soccer at the age of 12, which for some would say that this is a very late stage. I mean, in the academy, kids go as young as, I don't know, 5. So for professional football, this was a late start to her career. But the way she picked up at 12, she was already playing so well, and she didn't think too much of it. She was just thinking that, this is just something I'll be doing for fun. Even when a scout came to find her in Australia, She was just like, oh no, I'm not interested. So I felt her, I mean, her life story is just very inspiring. And at the age of 15, and I feel like this was where her major accomplishment started. At the age of 15, she debuted for the national soccer team. And I have to say, this is a very young age. I mean, even now, at the age of 15, debuting for the national. I mean, of course, now there's so many youngsters playing, but then at that time, it was a very young age. So at the age of 15, she debuted for the national Australian team, which is called the Matildas, which is currently the captain, which is another accomplishment. So I'll be dropping some of the accomplishments as we go along. So currently, she is the Matildas captain. That is the name of this. Then, as she progressed forward with her football in 20, she assisted her team to win the Asian Cup against North Korea, just adding to one of her major accomplishments. Now, this for her was a major breakthrough for her, and she realized that she could actually do this professionally. With this in mind, she continued to play football competitively, and of course, there was a bit of more pressure. It was more or less of fun and more of expectations from the Matildas, from the nation of Australia. But she still maneuvered through it, and she still played soccer as much as possible, nicked in so many goals. I mean, the goals that Sam has scored are so many. Sometimes it's hard to keep count. It's really hard to keep count, but I have to say, I mean, for the forward, the fact that she's in Chelsea right now just speaks volumes. Before we get to her scores, in 2015, she had a major knee injury and she had to go out. She was out for, I think, 8 weeks, 2 months, and this really affected her, but it did not steer her away from her goal, and she still recovered and went back. I mean, the same year again, she got another ligament injury, and this just tore her down. But again, she went through rehabilitation through the Paralympic Center in Australia, and she was able to recover. Then she was back with the national squad, back in action, back to deliver as many goals as possible, and this is exactly what she did. As she was playing for the Matildas, she was scouted by an American agent. After she kickstarted her career at the age of 15, I mean her debut, she was able to nick in 5 goals in the World Cup. After she was scouted by the American agents, she moved to the National Super Women's League. Now, this is the league based in America where they play sports competitively for women's, and she was able to nick in 19 goals of the 23 games she played. 19 goals of the 23 games she played. Guys, I mean, this is literally I think this is a goal in each and every single game, and then just missed like 4. I mean, she is a very phenomenal player, I have to say. I was watching all her goals, and all her finishes are clinical, just as is written in all the. If you read about her, I mean, she is just pure talent, and you know, coming from a young age, coming from a very athletic background, it's just phenomenal what you can do once you set your mind to something. Now, after she joined the NSWL, she won 3 consecutive golden boots, guys. I mean, I said her achievements were long, but yo, the list is so long, I might miss on some of them. But this is just one of her major accomplishments. You know, a golden boot is just top tier. It's just top tier in the world of football. She is a Ballon d'Or nominee, and I feel like she is nominated, I think, each and every single year as it is right now, because she is just superb. I mean, how she works hard on the pitch, off the pitch, when she's out on injury, she is still working hard to make sure that when she comes back on the pitch, she is able to finish, to convert the goals. She has spent her time, I mean, after she joined the American League, and she still had to play for her national team in 2019, and I think the years before that. She split her time playing for the Chicago Red Stars and the Australian Women's League, and I have to say this means that she had to play football all year round. The Australian League was from October to April, then the American League was from April to September, so there's literally no time to rest for her, and she is a hard worker. This is just one of her best qualities, and I have to say, as one of the best football players in the world, she is just a star. She is one of the greatest of all time. Then during the 2019-2020 season, She signed a 2.5-year contract to join Chelsea, and my oh my, she just came in and she just became the best player in the league, just out of the blue. Of course, she had as I said, she has numerous achievements, which I probably will not mention in all which I probably will not mention all of them in this video. She joined Chelsea, I mean, midway through the 2019-2020 season, and she just right away she became the highest goal scorer. I mean, in the 2020-2021 season, she was the highest goal scorer in the whole women's league. And if you have reached this part, of course, I'll be telling you what is her major accomplishment that is in the Guinness Book of World Records. She is the only Australian, both male and female, to be able to score a hat-trick in a World Cup. She's a star to look out for, and we should be definitely looking out for the next years to come. I mean, of course, she has signed a contract with Chelsea. She signed her contract in 2019-2020 mid-season, and the contract is still ongoing, and I feel like it will be extended. It's going to be extended. I mean, her achievements are just phenomenal, and as it is right now, she's one of the highest goal scorers in the women's league. So that is in regards to Sam Kerr. And tell me what you learned that probably you didn't know about her, and who is the next player you want me to do next. Of course, I have my list, but I always listen to you guys. So if you enjoyed this content, please make sure you give it a thumbs up, share it with your family and friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Turn on the post notification bell to be notified every time I upload a video. And I'll be seeing you in my next video. Ta-ta!